Excellent. Thank you to those that are tuning in. This is going live to LinkedIn, also live to YouTube. Very warm welcome to you. So, welcome to today's session. This is the Leadith Lead Generation Masterclass, part of a week 3 is what we're on today. Delighted to have you here tuning in as we progress on our journey to transform your B2B coaching and consulting business. So let's kick off with today's topic. Today's topic is looking at, So we've got from contacts to contracts. Bit of a tongue twister, this one, but it's all about the lead conversion formula. So in previous weeks, we laid down the foundations by unleashing your B2B potential and exploring how to effectively engage with key decision makers. Today, our focus is turning to the most critical aspect of any successful venture, and that's being able to convert those hard-earned contacts into profitable long-term client relationships. So the path from initial interest to a signed contract can often feel very daunting for a kind of business owner or a small business owner. However, with the right strategies and, of course, the mindset, this is going to help you to streamline this process, ensuring that each qualified lead is going to be nurtured and guided seamlessly towards becoming a loyal client. Now, during our session today, we're actually going to dive in really deep into proven techniques that are going to help you to qualify leads. Yes, that's right, qualifying leads. So it's not just about like the qualifying the leads, it's all about building trust. And we build that trust through tailored nurturing campaigns. I'm going to teach you some tricks in terms of state-of-the-art ways that we can close deals with confidence. We're going to explore some kind of real-world case studies based over kind of some of my experience over the last kind of 4 years in doing this. And we're going to engage in some interactive exercises. So not many people in the actual live session at the moment, but hopefully as this masterclass unfolds, more people will join in. Now, if you want to join the actual masterclass session, do head over to our website. It's leadith.io. That's leadeth.io. There's a button there which says Learn, and you can go down to Masterclasses. That will take you to the sign-up page for our 13-week free lead generation masterclass program, where you'll see an itinerary, exactly what's going on for the next kind of few weeks. But more importantly, you'll get our email newsletters and email updates in terms of the next event that's going to be happening. So these are currently every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Not got a huge uptake on the 2 p.m. slot, so we might be moving this back to a morning slot, kind of 10-ish or 11-ish on a Tuesday instead, but we'll look at that probably in a couple of weeks' time. So a heck of a lot to go through today, so today's session, we're kind of diving in deep into those techniques, as I said, about qualifying the leads, whether you're a seasoned consultant or maybe you're just starting out. This masterclass was going to provide you with some fantastic insights and also some excellent practical steps that you can apply in your business. And hopefully, once we've got those initial contacts turning into contracts, you've got a solid layer of foundation there for sustainable growth. And that's what we want to see. So let's get started into this session on unlocking the secrets to kind of mastering this lead conversion formula together. We're going to look at a few different models. And certainly if you're tuning in on the live stream, I'd love for you to post a comment in the chat, and hopefully I can kind of share that up on the screen as well. So I'm your guide, Alex Smith. I'm the founder of Leadith, with extensive experience in LinkedIn lead generation. So very much a focus on B2B. I'm here to support you and help you kind of through the complexities of B2B growth, having started several business ventures and grown multiple communities. Leadith is currently my main focus. And I'm just going to explain a little bit about in terms of kind of what is Leadith. So Leadith is quite simply this is the client roadmap here on this graphic. So we're taking people who are struggling to get any leads and traffic on LinkedIn to having more time and ideally, making more money. So I'm just going to drop myself down to the bottom, if I can, to the lower section on the screen there. Hopefully you can see the full slide still. 6 steps involved in the leader process. This is step 1, target audience identified. So we need to identify who our target audience is. Previous weeks in the masterclasses, we've kind of looked at this. If you go back to the last year's training, we've kind of dived into each of these elements in a bit more detail. So feel free to kind of search through that. You can find that in our school community, which I'll share in a moment. But once we've identified that target audience, we need to then prime our personal LinkedIn profile. And the key is there, we've got to kind of make sure that that profile is in alignment with our target audience. So when someone looks at our profile, straight away they know what we're about, how we can help them, the problems we solve, and how we do it, and what the next step is. So there's clarity there. Stage 3 is my favorite stage. It's all about outreach automation, so leveraging software tools. So we've got a proprietary bit of software that we use ourselves, and I have around about 50 clients currently signed up to the software tool, using it in various ways. And that software tool is to kind of really scale up your outreach on LinkedIn by automating the process of connecting with people, sending connection requests, DMs, looking at their profile, liking recent content, engaging with them. And very much it's an AI-powered tool. So we're leveraging AI to make it super personalized, which is fantastic. Stage 4 is all about email outreach. So we've got the LinkedIn outreach strategy arm, and then we've got an email outreach strategy arm. And when you kind of combine the two together, so we're doing LinkedIn DMs and then a nice warm email saying, hey, we recently connected on LinkedIn. That creates a really great kind of way to start nurturing these leads and prospects. Stage 5 in the kind of roadmap here is all about video content marketing, and that's where we can leverage content to generate inbound leads. So we've got 2 really good outbound strategies, and then we've got this inbound strategy just to cement everything that we're doing. And creating that content is super easy these days with things like AI. It's where we're showcasing thought leadership, with showcasing case studies, things like that. If you've got video testimonials from clients, very powerful with what you can do with that content on LinkedIn these days. And then final step is kind of cementing everything we've done into a system. So we need to make sure all these leads that we're now gathering and collecting are being fed through a funnel, and we're not. And the idea is to nurture these leads. So having a system to capture appointments, capture the details, automatically send people the calendar invite, make sure they turn up by sending them reminders and text messages, and getting them into a long-term warm-up email sequence and things like that to continue to nurture them. So that's what Lead is all about. If you're interested in that in a bit more detail, welcome you to have a one-to-one discovery call. Head over to leadeth.io. That's leadeth.io/discovery. That'll take you to the calendar where you can schedule a call with Bush. Bush is currently doing the sales calls for me at the moment. And you'll be so welcome to learn a bit more about this whole strategy and how it might help you in your business. We've also got something else. This is the free school community. You may have received a text message from me on LinkedIn, a DM, or an email mentioning this community. But if you head over to leadeth.io/school, you'll see the community there. It looks a little bit like this. We've got a community discussion forum place where you can ask questions. And then you've also got a classroom. And in the classroom, we've got lots of different modules. All these masterclass sessions are recorded in that classroom. We've also got client-only drop-in sessions. So that's when clients can access me. And then we've got the 6 different stages laid out. So I actually walk you through with video tutorials and training in terms of how you can apply some of this theory, some of this knowledge to your B2B small business coaching or consulting business that you're looking to scale. And that's the focus for this quarter. It's all about helping coaches and consultants really to scale their endeavors. I've done some surveys recently and explored some of the problems that you guys are facing, which is how this course has been put together in this masterclass. It's all about equipping you guys based off that the feedback that I've got from speaking to people in your situation. So that's the school community. Please do join it. It's free still. I think thinking about starting to charge for it because there's so much value there, so much content there. But we're going to press on with today's focus, which is from contacts to contracts. Week one, we looked at kind of the decision maker dynamics, how to close those doors. And week two, we kind of progressed that, looking at some of the things that we need to say, some of the things that we need to do to start to identify those leads. And now we're really kind of in that nurture process. Before we kick off, just wanted to start with a bit of a reflection. So let's take a moment in the stillness. Let's ponder our purpose and the vision that we hold for our business. This is a time for clarity, insight, aligning our intentions with our actions. And today's verse of the day, verse of the week, I guess, for the session, comes from the book of the Bible, and it's in Colossians 4. And it says this: it says, "Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person." And I just thought that was such a great verse that tied in really nicely to what we're currently looking at in terms of reaching out to people and nurturing these leads. So as we prepare to convert contacts into contracts, just have a think about these words. May they kind of inspire us with wisdom, as we need empathy and discernment. Every single interaction we have with a potential client is an opportunity to leave a lasting impression. And through our speech and our conduct, hopefully that can make a bigger impact and support you better. So we put up a reflection question after that verse every week. This week, how can we ensure that our interactions with potential clients are seasoned with salt? Wise, gracious, and tailored to each unique person and situation. For me personally, this means, how can I contemplate and how I can apply this wisdom is probably 4 or 5 key different areas. Active listening, so understanding every single lead's motives and needs. So I'm hopeless at listening, and it's just a great reminder for me to think, right, yeah, have I actually read the full response of what someone's saying? Have I actively listened? And I need to kind of convey that back to them in terms of making sure I've read it correctly. And so often with emails and DMs, the message can be construed a little bit. So think about active listening. For me, I guess empathy and emotional intelligence in our communication. So making sure we get the emotions across. It's so easy to be very cold and very transactional in our approach. But yeah, we need to show empathy, and that emotional intelligence is vital in our communication with these prospects. Think about customization. How can you customize your pitch or proposal based on different personas? That is key. For me, that is being wise. Tailoring your approach for that specific person. We need to choose our words carefully, and the purpose of those careful words is to build trust and build rapport. So think about the words you say and how you say it, because it does have a lasting consequence. We need to blend our expertise, not just with our skill, but we need to do it with humility. And in all our client interactions, we need to show that. So that's how I kind of interpret that reflection question. So as we kind of move on in this session, the first thing we're going to look at is qualifying leads effectively, and it's the important first step really in this whole process, and it's how we accurately kind of qualify those leads. It's all about separating the prospects from those that may be really truly interested in becoming clients from those that are just unlikely to commit. And that allows us wasting our time, energy, and focus and effort with those time wasters. So it's about being wise and being diligent with those leads, and identifying who are the right ones who we need to be focused on. So when ascertaining if a lead is qualified or not, we look at 4 main criteria. You may have heard this, mentioned it on the email. There's 3 different anagrams that people often use, but this is the main one. It's called BANT. And the B is for budget. So does the potential client have the money to pay for your services or products? I mean, that is quite key. If they've not got the budget, we can't really work with them. Sometimes it's good to have suggestions for those that maybe can't afford you, and you can. That's where I have all my free stuff. So if people don't have budget, I'm actually going to teach them how to do it for free. They can join the community and learn. Yeah. So I don't let budget be an objection always. But when you're having those kind of sales meeting, we need to know whether people have got a budget, and we need to know where we're pitching our products to them. So B is for budget. Secondly, A is authority. So what's authority all about? Well, it's all about, are we speaking to the final decision maker, or certainly at least someone who can really strongly influence that buying decision at their company? Are the right people in the room, in the meeting? And that's key. So A is for authority. N in BANT is need. So do our solutions actually match up with their current problems, and goals, and also maybe their requirements? Is there a need there? We need to clarify if they've got even a need for our services. So part of those kind of discovery calls or sales calls or initial kind of back and forth messages on emails is kind of ascertaining some of this information. Finally, T in BANT, that's going to stand for timeline. So timeline, is there a sense of urgency or a specific time frame when they might want to be taking action? So we have to work with all sorts of different timelines. So when we carefully check our leads against these criteria, it kind of helps us to understand which opportunities are actually going to be worth our dedicated effort and time. Okay, so we're going to look at some techniques in terms of qualifying. So the path is cleared when we invest time qualifying up front. So once we get this done, it kind of frees up everything else, and that streamlines all our efforts towards those who are just truly primed for that conversion. So we can focus our energy. I mean, time is the critical thing here, especially as a B2B, solopreneur, consultant, or coach. Your time is very precious to you. So we've got to be smart. Now, lead scoring is fantastic because it gives us almost like a numerical ranking based on key details about them and their company and the gauge of their potential fit. And the way that you can start to score leads is based on, how many emails they've opened from you, how many replies they've sent back to you. Things like that are great indicators for ranking leads. And a lot of software tools, CRM tools. I'm a big fan of the Go High Level tool, and I'm actually a white label Go High Level provider. We've actually got lead scoring built into the software, so it detects all those bias signals and things and starts to rank all our contacts based on the score. And that is fantastic because you can create some fantastic automations that then say, right, people with a score of 20 or above, make sure we send them an email. They're keen, they're interested. Let's drive them with another email or another piece of marketing or an extra bit of content that might just get them over the line. So lead scoring is quite key. Discovery calls, as I mentioned, it's all about making sure that you've got an in-depth conversation, probing into the prospect, into their specific situation to find fit, really. So we need to know if they're a good fit. Have a look at these other qualification frameworks. Obviously, we've just looked at BANT, but there's another one which is called FAINT, and that one stands for fit, authority, interests, need, and timing. And there's also another one called CHAMP, the CHAMP framework. The CHAMP is all to do with challenges the lead is currently facing and the solution that you can address. H is for how interested or motivated they seem to solve the challenge. A is the authority, again, same as BANT, that decision-making role, making sure you're speaking to the right person. M is going to be about money, okay? M for money or budget in BANT. And then P is all for, plan, the timeline. So very similar model, these frameworks all follow, but you might want to write those down, stick them on your monitor. So when you next have a discovery call, you can tick the boxes off. Is it the right timing for them? Can they make the decision? Is budget an issue or whatever? So yeah, just wanted to share those frameworks with you. Think about evaluating those leads using those, qualifications or having a checklist. That's going to really help you to ensure that you've thoroughly vetted every single lead against the criteria. And going forward, it just makes life a lot easier. The next thing we're going to look at is nurturing these relationships. So converting contacts into contracts it requires cultivating trust over time. And we need to nurture these budding relationships, and it's got to be done consistently through valuable engagements. So, what are we talking about here? Well, consistently sharing insights, that's a great way to reinforce your expertise and keep you at the top of their mind. So, your funnel is about, all about touch points with leads and things that you can be doing with those leads. You need to be in front of those leads, otherwise, they're not going to know who you are and what you do. So, educational kind of emails are fantastic for this. They provide those little bite-sized tips and advice related to their interests, their pain points. Webinars are fantastic. So a bit like this platform that I'm using today, a webinar. This is a LinkedIn Live. It's also going out to YouTube. A fantastic place that I can kind of show off in-depth knowledge, and these kind of masterclass training sessions really kind of add value. Another thing that you can do is thought leadership. So blogs are great for thought leadership. If you've got a website, fantastic for SEO. Videos are also a great way to kind of showcase and establish yourself as an authority in the space. And think about, personalized resources like guides and tools that you can use to demonstrate your understanding of their specific needs. Things like the digital quizzes or scorecards like Score App, Daniel Priestley's Score App. One is a great tool that a lot of clients use currently. So this content kind of nurturing strategy really needs to show how much you're kind of ready and you're invested in their success. And that just kind of adds so much clout, before they're even ready to make any purchase. You've cultivated so much trust before any conversion can happen, and it just becomes a no-brainer for them once that trust has been gained. So as you continue to nurture leads with using a content strategy, you need to determine the right communication cadence. So obviously more frequent touch points initially up front would be great, and then eventually maybe start to taper them off as they progress through your funnel. You need to monitor engagement signals like the number of emails that have been opened, the number of link clicks, the number of interactions with that piece of content. And those insights are really powerful, and that goes into kind of lead scoring. And when you can start to automate this whole process using tools like Leadith, our sales engagement platform, we've got features called like AI sentiment detection in our scale and growth plans. And what that does is it detects who the hotter leads might be, who are the ones that are interested, and who are the ones that are just not interested and just kind of fobbing you off. And when you kind of leverage AI in that respect, really helps you to kind of go down, be wise with your time, and you can just see, right, I'm just going to deal with those that AI has detected are interested, and boom, boom, boom. You have a clear focus in terms of the ones that you need to nurture. But always, it's got to be a two-way dialogue. We need to respond promptly when people reply, and we need to have real conversations. We've got to be consistent in terms of putting out that valuable and tailored communication to our leads. It's just got to solidify you as a trusted partner. So hopefully, if you can achieve that, you're definitely on a target for really doing business with this person. Finally, as we come into the closing technique, so this is, once somebody's kind of understood your product and understood what it is, we arrive at this closing phase. And this is important because it helps us to, the main thing here is the mindset. This quote here, mindset is everything, kind of summed it up. Closing represents the crescendo. It's the pivotal moment. All your diligent lead nurturing efforts have been, worked towards this point. So how you approach this final stage is really going to kind of make or break the conversation and the hopefully the contract. So you've got to bring equal parts of both confidence and empathy to the closing process. Confidence is the value that you provide and nurturing journey that have preceded this moment. But think about empathy, recognizing that this is a significant decision for your prospect, and we need to be empathetic with that. Certainly, a lot of coaches are selling 10K plus flagship products. 10K is a significant amount of money. It'd be great to have a 10K product, but it takes it up to a whole new level. So people need that confidence and they need that clarity and that trust in you. So it's a blend of that assured expertise and also having the sensitivity to their kind of unique situation. That's what we need in this with this closing stage. So you're the guide, as I always say, through the Donald Miller framework. You're taking, you're walking alongside these prospects towards hopefully a mutually rewarding partnership, and they need to be fully aware of that. So with the right mindset, closing becomes much of a kind of less obstacle to overcome, and the stress of selling shouldn't be there. It should just be more seamless. The next step is solidifying this relationship that you've been just cultivating over time. It's kind of going in for the kill. So think about these signals. How do you know that this is the opportune moment to close? So think about the mindset thing, knowing about, there's several different things here that we can look at to identify if that lead is, primed and ready to convert. A clear signal is often when the prospect initiates questions about pricing. Often I find, how much is it, or it might be to do with the logistics, or the implementation. They might want to know a bit more about your onboarding process. That's a fantastic signal, and it implies that they're envisioning themselves as a potential client, which is fantastic. Another sign to look out for is if they start looping in other team members. So again, it's that authority bit. Have they got the right people by their side? That could mean they're assembling the full decision-making team, and this is really going places. Obviously, if you're kind of B2B, and you're dealing with corporate environments, there are 6 or 7 people in that whole process. I mean, I think the most I've ever had is about 4 people in a meeting, all kind of inputting, all directors or whatever level they are, kind of making that decision. So it's the pressure's up, but certainly that's a great signal for you to pick up on. And obviously leads discussing potential timelines and the rollout plans for adopting your software or your solution, your coaching program. That's going to indicate a real advanced stage of kind of lean in. Perhaps the biggest signal is when they convey a growing sense of urgency, and timelines suddenly become a much more compressed. The decision is becoming much more time sensitive, and they know they need to take action quickly. If you've got that across, then that's fantastic as well. So learn to identify and really capitalize on these kind of closing signals. They represent the momentum that you've been nurturing them towards finally kind of cresting. So it's a fantastic feeling to get to that point, and that positivity that you get from people, in terms of their process and knowing that they're on board with you. It is really, really, really rewarding. But what happens when we get objections? So even with really qualified, nurtured leads, objections are still going to surface as you want to close. But objections shouldn't really be viewed as confrontations or anything like that. So we need to approach them as just extra opportunities for you to kind of explore what that root concern is. It could be that pricing pushback might arise. So, they might have an issue around the pricing or logistics. So this is a great opportunity for you to just confirm the full value that your offering brings. And it helps you to kind of unlock that in relation to their specific goals. So if you've identified what their goals are. What we have at Leadeth on the sales calls is I get Bush to share a spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet is an ROI calculator. So they can input the fixed costs. They can output and see exactly how many leads the software is likely to generate them based on how many messages they're going to be pushing out on a monthly basis. So it's kind of a very much a mathematical thing that we kind of show them, just to show them, if you automate this is what you will get. This is how many leads you will get, and it works quite often like that. The first month often there'll be 0, but the second month you'll start to get 2 or 3 come back, and then boom, they got a deal. And then by month 3 and 4, it scales up and gets better and better for them. So we need to be asking really insightful situational questions that are going to just change the direction of that objection from their perspective. So think about rhetorical questions, to try and reshape their mindset around that objection. So if you can ask the question in a different way, That's a great thing to do. Think about alternative options, different packages or configurations that might be better suited to their needs. If they've got a really tight budget, having flexibility is key here. So remember that ultimately both are still aligned in kind of wanting to solve their core challenge. So objections are just going to help us to redefine that path, and having an open mind, that's really going to help you to kind of deal with these objections, resolve the objection, and then clear any kind of remaining hurdles to then close that business. So yeah, those are kind of the main things. If they ask about pricing, logistics, how to kind of get around and introduce others from their team, discussions around implementation and timelines, work that into it all. So yeah, I tend to have objection templates. So if someone comes up with an objection, I have a template that I can just kind of fire back at them, and it overcomes it in quite a nice way. But as you kind of do it more and more, you'll get really good at that. So this concludes the training this week, week 3 on contacts to contracts. It's still a tongue twister. I can't get my head around it. Next week, we're going to actually move into something a bit more exciting. I've actually got my business coach, the one and only Richard Woods, who is the author of the $1 Million Sprint. That's the coaching program that I've been a part of for the last 2 years. And it's really unlocked my business to kind of grow my business. Rich is going to talk to us about time mastery. So especially for consultants, how to unlock productivity. He's going to explore some different principles around what you can do, how you can work smarter with the time you've got. And and it definitely does work, because I'm living proof of it. So really excited for that session coming up. Coming up next Tuesday. So that'll be next Tuesday at 2 p.m. So thanks, Richard, for taking the session for us next week. Just another reminder. So if you've enjoyed what you've watched or what you've seen today, welcome you to check out my content, leadeth.io. Within the website, again, we've got the masterclass series. So that's where you can join in the live masterclass sessions. We've also got this school community, which is just waiting for you to join, waiting for you to apply. It's free to join that. There's just so much content there that you can just dive straight in with and learn from. But that's everything for this week. So I just want to thank you for joining me on this live masterclass session. As I say, next week, really excited, unlocking productivity next week with Richard Woods. I'll probably be in the sidelines, but let Richard lead that session. So that's everything from me today. And we're just going to have a quick look to see if there's any questions on the feed. So how do we get the feed up? There we go. Just going into LinkedIn now, just see if there's any live questions as a result of going live. And nothing on there at the moment, so I'll keep monitoring that. And if anyone wants to ask any questions on that, feel free to join in on there. And but thanks for joining today.